Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America podcast. This is Jenny. I'm the owner and the host of the Revival of America. Today we have Troy Lett in the house, everybody. Everything XRP. So please feel free if you have a question for Troy, raise your hand and I will unmute your mic and you can ask Troy your question here at some point in this podcast. Otherwise, if you can't speak, please write your question underneath the picture here. It says XRP. I'm going to bring it down and I will read your question to Troy also at some point in this podcast. Also, to everybody, please be careful who you listen to, who you follow, what you're putting into your mind. A lot of stuff is going on out there, and I'm just going to say it. You know how I feel about it. A lot of people are falling to the wayside, showing their true colors. It's like I was co-hosting an earlier space this morning, and just letting everybody know, take a deep breath, because there's a lot of black pilling going on, a lot of fear mongering, a lot of people coming into spaces, chat rooms such as this, comment boxes like over there on Facebook when people go live, or just in general, spewing a lot of BS, guys, a lot of noise, disruptions. That's what they want. They are agitator. They're called agitators for a reason, disruptors for a reason. So please, everybody, be careful. And I'm just gonna say, if you get caught up in that BS, then that's gonna be on you, because myself and many of us warn you guys to be careful. Tighten down that circle. I used to say 3 to 5 people. Now I'm saying 1 to 3 people. If they haven't led you wrong through the course of your journey, just please continue to stick with them. If you don't truly know who to follow because you're just that person, which many of you have reached out to me and said you just don't know who to trust and who to follow anymore, I get it. I understand. First and foremost, God above, because remember, everybody, this is God's plan. This is His war. We are His soldiers fighting the war, and He's already won this war, everybody. But we've got to stand strong, buckle up, stand with our president, follow Donald Trump. He is telling us, everybody, and what everybody needs to understand, he has the most to lose. So why would he put him and his family on the forefront of this, if he knew he couldn't win this war, right? So we are winning, guys. There's more winning out there than there isn't winning, but they're putting that the whatever so-called not wins that the other side thinks that we're not having, and they're misconstruing it, putting all kinds of twists and turns to it to make people think that it's not happening. We got to really think, use our discernment, kick it in high gear, think common sense, everybody. Trump is so calm, cool, and collective. If he didn't think he had everything, we caught him all, we have it all, he would not be so calm, laughing everywhere he goes, right? And you got to think too about the Brunson case, everybody. The Brunson case is still out there. So there's a lot of stuff happening behind in the background. Trump, I do believe, and what I've been being told is that he's working on getting these elections so they're safe and fair, right? So he knows. I believe Trump is going to play his 5D chess moves that he always does right up until before that those elections happen, and boom, I believe it has going to have something to do with the 2020 elections being fraud. What does fraud do? Vitiates everything. Tina Peters, I posted a video of her talking to Jake Lang. So great things are happening. Stay in the focus. Stay focused on that positive trail, everybody, because there's so much more positive happening than there is negative. And Lloyd Brunson, he is under all kinds of NDAs, everybody. But when he speaks to people, he has a smile on his face. He's because he knows what's going on. He knows what's about to happen, as does Trump, right? But you can't give your enemy your next move because we are at war, right? And it's like so many say, it isn't until you hit the people in the gut to where they finally stand up and see what's really going on. The precipice, right, guys? We're getting there, but we have not had that gut punch just yet. So hang tight, everybody. It's gonna get bumpy, but I'm telling you, stay focused on the positive, because there's more positive happening than there is negative. And a lot of things that we're seeing, things aren't always as they seem, everybody. Trump just posted on his Truth Social, and I'm telling you, go over there because that's where he's posting on Truth Social about this Warsh guy being central casting. I put that on the wall again this morning. Do your research on central casting. It's one of the biggest extra casting agencies to put extras in a movie in the world. So just, guys, please, I implore you to watch who you're following. And It's just scary. The messages I get and how people are being in fear. And I'm telling people, get out of those chats, get out of those rooms, whatever it is. You got to be careful because yes, you are going to see some of the people that you've liked for so long following, giving the great information, saying they've been a Trump supporter, and now all of a sudden they're not. They're going to turn, guys, and then you're going to probably even more discombobulated. But and I'm seeing it happen with some of the people that I was following. I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked because I knew this was coming, right? But I move on. I keep pushing forward, and I actually just right now before we came on here was making a list for me of the people I'm going to just stick to who I'm going to be posting from, like their accounts, whether it be here on Telegram, Facebook, X, wherever it is, right? So I am narrowing down my search because I'm finding out the Gateway Pundit is putting out a lot of not necessarily truthful things. So that one is one I'm going to reverse from. And then also too, everybody, you've got to be careful of AI. There are a bunch of people putting out these videos, pictures. They've been modified, right, to fit their narrative. So and this AI is good, but use your discernment, everybody. If you're not sure, then I get it. I just maybe if you're not 100%, then don't put it out there, right? So again, it's getting wild out there, everybody. But I mean, it has to happen this way so we can get to the fruitfulness of what Trump is calling the golden age, and we hear him speak about a lot. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at therevivalofamerica@yahoo.com, and hopefully I can maybe be of some help if you're really that confused. Bear with me, in responding to some of these emails because, I am pretty busy. So, but yeah, hang tight, everybody. Buckle up those seatbelts because we're in for a ride. Also, to everybody, if you come in late to the podcast, we are being listened to in over 100 countries. So we are making some great positive noise. You can follow the podcast host on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Podbean, Riverside, Amazon Music. Social medias are Jenny Dreed Facebook at Jenny_Dreed X, at JG Reed Rumble, at JG Reed True Social, at JG Reed Instagram, The Revival of America right here on Telegram, The Revival of America over on YouTube. Also, check out the website. It is a work in progress. We're doing some fun stuff with it. But the merch store is over there, and we're going to change that up a lot over there, guys. There is a little bit of a brief synopsis about me and how I came to the opening of my podcast, launching of it, if you would. And then I've got John Baxter's information over there, Rick Anson, Carrie Kasem's all natural face cream is over there. We have a page for the children, which we're going to be adding to. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming. Work in progress, like I said, but check it out. It's therevivalofamerica.com. And if you guys want to get in touch with like John and go see him in his facilities or have questions for John or his staff, please email me as well. A lot of you want to get his free scan of the hair and nails so they can scan you for free to tell you what they see is going on with you. If you're one of those ones out there that are not getting the great, they're just kind of getting the doom and gloom from your current situation, and you feel like you're not having any encouragement or hope, please reach out to me at therevivalofamerica@yahoo.com, because I'm telling you, John is changing the lives of many people when it comes to their health. So it's absolutely amazing. I'm seeing it real time with many people, a lot of great testimonials. So again, therevivalofamerica@yahoo.com. I'll get you in touch with John and his staff. And then last but certainly not least, everybody, if you have a journey or a story you'd like to have heard on the podcast, please email me your story. I will vet them because unfortunately I do have those people that want to just try to be relevant and give some kind of BS story to get on a podcast. And if it's not legit, I won't even respond. But if it is legit, I do believe it is legit, I will reach out to you via email. We'll get your voices, your story heard on the podcast. Because remember, everybody, it's your journey, your voice that matters, and will help get us through this new world that we're coming into. So with that, everybody, Troy is in the house. He typically gives us an hour of his time, so he may have a little extra time today, but I love to be respectful of my guest time. So I want to welcome Troy to the stage. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, Jenny. I hope everybody here is doing well as well. Um, there's a whole bunch going on in the markets right now. We're seeing CZ Binance kind of manipulating the market with his Bitcoin.
Yeah, and we're seeing XRP is dropping.
Oh
So
yeah, the whole market's dropping right now.
time to buy,
Let's start.
everybody. Time to buy.
Great time to buy. Great time to buy. We got these ETFs sucking the XRP off the open market. They've had they haven't had any days with outflows on them, so that ought to tell you something. Somebody's buying it. Let's talk about the Epstein connection here.
Oh boy, yeah, let's do that. That's crazy, everybody. Go
Oh
ahead.
yes, it's nuts. So in the beginning, Jeffrey Epstein was donating to MIT, and MIT was donating to Bitcoin Core with David Brock. David Brock is the founder of Tether. So sounds like Epstein and Brock were really close friends. And if you guys know, Tether is the one that really pumps up Bitcoin. They mint Tether out of thin air, and then they buy Bitcoin with it to inflate the price of Bitcoin. But Epstein was when the developers kind of ran out of money on Bitcoin. Epstein stepped in and started funding it through, I believe it was through MIT. And guess who was the professor at MIT? Gary Gensler. And Gary Gensler's the one that he didn't bring the lawsuit against Ripple, but he extended it for 4 years. So we were in a lawsuit for about 5 years there because of Gary Gensler. And now it looks like Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein also sent out some emails or received some emails that evidently there was some funding there that some of his cohorts were funding Ripple and Stellar. And the gentleman politely asked him to quit funding XRP and Ripple and Stellar. He said there's 2 horses in the race. You don't need to be funding the competition. So they were basically saying to cut off all funding from Ripple and Stellar. There's another character out there, Coinbase. You know, I've always said I had a bad taste in my mouth about Coinbase, and it's leading right back to Epstein. Epstein donated or invested in Coinbase $3 million in the beginning, back in, I think it was 2014. And who was the first exchange, one of the first exchanges to delist XRP? Coinbase. So there's a mighty big web right there around Epstein and cryptocurrency. You know, some people have even called BTC, Bitcoin, the baby trafficking coin. So we'll have to wait and see where this all plays out. There's, I think, 3.5 million pages of Epstein files. I'm sure more will come out in the future. Something pretty interesting happened here as well. Donald Trump nominated Kevin Walsh as his new Fed chair. That's another reason the markets are kind of going haywire, is Kevin Walsh wants to tighten up the Fed and there won't be any more free money. But, you know, I put on the board the ironic thing about Kevin Walsh. He hasn't came up and accepted the nominee yet. And that's been like 6 days ago that Trump, I think it was on January 29th, announced his Fed chair nomination. But why hasn't he come forward and accepted it yet? That seems awful fishy to me.
Well, did you hear me say, Troy, that on Trump's True Social, he posted something about this, and I'll bring it down to the wall. But he said that basically he was central casting.
I did see that. He called him central casting. I don't think he's going to be our next Fed chair.
I think
Judy Shelton's going to be the next Fed chair. If you look at Mr. Poole, Mr. Poole,
go ahead. Well, no, I just saw that, and I was going to ask you if that was Judy Shelton, because, you know, many of us heard about her way in the beginning of our journey here with this whole, what we're going through, right? So it's good to see she's kind of coming full circle right now.
Yes, and if you look at the board, I've got a picture of her with Mr. Poole saying confirmed. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, I don't remember what she said, but she said it on a certain date. And then if you take Jerome Powell's last day, I think it's May 15th, and you put that in a day calculator, it comes up as 2 years, 0 months,
26
2 days. Yeah, it's something like that. It's 26 days. It comes to 2026. I find that pretty interesting.
Oh, damn. Yes, it does. It's on the wall, everybody. Oh, wow. That's cool, Troy.
I'm sorry. Another thing, I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but you can bet on that on Robinhood, and there's a couple other platforms that you can bet on different things, and that's one on the new Fed chair. Right now, it's selling for 3 cents a contract, and a contract equals $1. So if you win $1, and you can buy the contract right now for 3 cents. It was 2 cents yesterday. If you look at Kevin Walsh's, it's got little statistics there on how many bets are in each category. Kevin Walsh has 9 million. Judy Shelton has 32 million. Lots of bets going on that Judy Shelton is going to be our next Fed chair. So it'll be pretty interesting if Kevin comes out and accepts the nominee or not. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see what that plays out. But it's a pretty interesting bet, and it is a bet. So I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch of the means. That's definitely gambling, and it's a long shot. But if it pays off, it'll pay off well.
So when do you think we'll have this? It says confirmation from Mr. Poole. I'm looking at it right now. When do you think we'll know if for sure it's happened or not? I mean, obviously it's your opinion, but what are your thoughts for Judy Shelton?
Well, I would say in the next week or so we should know something. If Kevin stays quiet, that ought to tell you something. Why isn't he stepping forward and accepting the nomination? Is Trump telling him not to accept it to get the markets where he wants them? I don't have an answer for that, but it seems awful funny that for 6 days he hasn't been heard of. And the day he announced his Fed chair, his name come up in the Epstein files. Is Donald Trump playing that card again where he puts his enemies up front?
Yep, I think so, and that's kind of goes back to kind of what I was getting ready to say. So for everybody here, and I say it over on X all the time, X is so far behind. They're speaking about things that like as if it's new, like these whole Epstein files that are coming out, guys. Many of us saw these in the beginning when we were going down these rabbit holes, right? When they weren't redacted, right? So this is coming all full circle with Judy Shelton. We heard about her a long time ago. I think a lot of us kind of anticipated her being where Jerome Powell was, but you wait for such a time as this. This is now, I think, her timing. And yes, we're seeing Donald Trump, and I've been saying it so much over on X because people just are not getting it, that he puts people in the limelight because they eventually expose themselves, right? We're seeing a lot of these people that he is around that have been compromised. But remember, everybody, they can become useful idiots. It was brought up in a space this morning about JD Vance, how he is being totally kind of well groomed like Obama was. So a lot of stuff is happening, everybody. So pay attention and pay attention again to what Trump is doing, because there's always a purpose, everybody. Trump is the master troll, and I love it. And he's always 1,000 steps ahead of everybody. So this is why I say feel warm and fuzzy and be at peace, everybody, because we're winning. And I'm super stoked about it. I'm really glad, Troy, that you brought up this whole Judy Shelton thing, because I think I saw something the other day. I don't know if it was something you posted on my wall but her name's been coming back full circle. I'm like, yes. So this is the time it was supposed to be for her to shine, not back maybe 3-4 years ago. So thank you for bringing that to us.
I also put on the board a Q post, and if you read down there at the bottom, it does say Judy Shelton in it. So Q knew it as well.
So you guys look on the wall. Troy has these things, and for those people, Elon Musk put out there this morning. I think I put it on the wall about the conspiracy theorists. That they like to categorize us as. It's a picture. It's a meme. It's a video of people just like celebrating. Cheering and having their beverages and just laughing, because basically everybody, so much of what we've been saying and talking about for so long is coming to fruition. And it has been for a while. So the vindication for many of us is there. Now, are we going to be out there and saying, I told you so? No, not necessarily, because it speaks for itself, everybody. So be excited. I think these wins, however big or small they are, guys, they are wins. And I want you guys to feel confident and excited about it, because it's really sad, a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing from people. And a lot of times I'm just shaking my head with the black pillars and the doom and gloomers. It's just, I feel kind of sorry for them, because, they must be living in some kind of fear all the time. So hopefully they'll come around. But yeah, what we can do is just pray for them, right, everybody? So, Troy, did you want to continue with more information, or how would you like to do this, my friend? It's your show. Are you there, Troy?
Yeah, sorry, I missed my button.
Oh, no, you're good.
With all that Pizzagate and the Epstein stuff and the Bitcoin stuff, if you look at the board, the very first purchase with Bitcoin was pizza. He spent 10,000 Bitcoin on 2 pizzas. And if you zoom in on the little boy, he's got "I love pizza" on his shirt. So is that a signal? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Who's that guy in the picture with the person around? Who's the dude? Do you know?
I think it says his name on there, Jenny.
Is this one of those Epstein file emails?
No, this came out in like 2010.
Okay. Yeah. You guys, if you're not, and again, I'm going to warn you guys, we are these Epstein files, because I did put the link and everything where you can go and see all these files unredacted. If you choose to do that, please be careful, because always remember, once you see it, you can't unsee it. A lot of these emails and things that they are talking about, and there might be some pictures and videos, very, very disturbing. And it's all about the children, guys, and they've done a lot of harm. I mean, it's beyond evil. I don't even know how people can even think like this. But just please be careful if you decide to go down that rabbit hole. Once you see it, always remember, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So if you don't think your mind can handle it, just don't worry about it. You'll hear probably enough about it that might just make your stomach turn in general. So just please be careful, everybody. Okay, Troy, do you want to go into questions, or how do you want to do this, my friend?
Yeah, let's do some questions.
Okay, and real quickly, Brick 24 Doyle, I'm trying to unmute your mic, so it's not allowing me to. So if you want to maybe go out and come back in and raise your hand, I'll unmute your mic. So everybody here, if you guys have questions for Mr. Troy, please feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute your mic, and you guys can ask your question to Troy. Otherwise, if you can't speak, you can write your questions underneath the XRP logo, and I will read Troy the question. So here's the first one, Troy, from Vanessa Kraft. Troy, I'm curious, what part of Kansas are you from? Well, you don't have to show that if you don't want to, Troy. That's kind of a personal question, everybody. I'm sure a lot of you, I sure thought a lot of you passed Monday and drove through Kansas coming back from Iowa from Colorado. We have many friends around the Hayes Russell area. One of them works on oil rigs. Okay. Who knows? You may know each other. Okay. Well, sorry. Here's the question. My question is, I used the Uphold app. Are we safe to purchase silver from there? Jenny, I'm so grateful for you and your guests. Thank you for that, Vanessa. So, Troy, I mean, you're welcome to, talk about where you're from if you like to. And then the question is, she wants to know if the Uphold app is safe to purchase silver from.
Well, I am from Central Kansas, and my son lives in Hayes, Kansas. So I'm pretty close to that area. Hayes is about 45 minutes from where I live. Silver, I haven't bought any silver from Uphold, but I do respect Uphold. I would assume that it is safe. I still have anything that I bought from Uphold, I still keep on Uphold. I haven't changed that, and I haven't seen any red flags there. As soon as I do see a red flag there, I will let everybody know. But as of now, I feel safe on Uphold. I bought my first XRP on Coinbase, and I got sideways with Coinbase for a token they wouldn't drop into my wallet, and therefore I bought an EVERYTHNG, and I moved all of my stuff off of Coinbase. Sounds like I made a pretty good decision there of the character of Coinbase with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff coming out now. He, like I said, he invested $3 million into Coinbase in the early days. So I'm sure he's got some pull at Coinbase, and his cronies probably do too. And I never have, cared for Brian Armstrong. He's the CEO of Coinbase. and he's the one that threw the wrench in the cog for the Clarity Act. Imagine that. I think he's playing on the banker side of things here.
Yeah, I
So
agree with you.
hopefully that answered her question.
Thank you, Vanessa. If that didn't, Vanessa, please, you are welcome to grab a mic, or if it did not answer your question all the way, go ahead and put more questions in the comments if you'd like, and I'll read them for you. Thank you for the question, Vanessa. Also, too, before Brick 24 Doyle, I did unmute your mic, so I'll call on you next. But real quickly, since we're talking about Bitcoin, Troy, can you maybe, for those that don't know, talk a little bit about Bitcoin and some of the how people are, have tied this to a lot of the nefariousness that we have seen go on in the world?
Well, yeah, I think I said earlier that some people say it's the baby trading coin. I also think it might be bait the criminals coin, because in the early days they couldn't really get it to work the way they wanted to. They brought David Schwartz in, which is the CTO, or was the CTO of Ripple. He is now retired and on the board of Ripple. But I think he put a tracking device on Bitcoin that nobody knew about. It's highly trackable. Brian Brooks was the comptroller in control of the currency at the time that a pipeline got hacked. And Brian Brooks sat in front of Congress and stated that had the hackers asked for anything else other than Bitcoin, they would have never got it back and caught the criminals. He said if they would have asked for dollars, diamonds, gold, whatever, they tracked that Bitcoin to the server and caught them all and had all the Bitcoin back. And a lot of people don't know what scaling means. Scaling means the ability to do large transactions quickly. The way Bitcoin works is when you hit your send button, say I wanted to send something to Jenny, and I would hit the send button. Well, that sends out a big mathematical equation that all these minds sitting around the world are trying to solve that problem. When they solve it, they get a portion of the sale. And it takes quite a while to solve that problem. So all that while, that Bitcoin's still sitting there waiting to move. Yeah, it takes a lot of electricity. It's really not scalable, but I think it is highly traceable. And I think you're going to find out that a lot of these, Donald Trump says he has it all. Well, you got to follow the money. And how do they follow the money? Through Bitcoin. I think there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that was traded, drugs, trafficking, children, and I think they have all of that. So I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin at all. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, they're in the top 3. Actually, I think Tether might be 4 in the top coins, and I think they're all nefarious. I've said since the early days, I think on one of my first podcasts with Jenny, that when Tether goes down, it's going to drag the whole market down. I think that's the backbone of the market right now, because what they do is they print Tether out of thin air and they buy Bitcoin with it, which pumps up the price of Bitcoin. They have come out with a new coin because they can't make their old coin applicable in the United States. They created a new coin. It's called the USAT, and now they're going to try to make it compliant with regulations through the Genius Act. But we already have a stable coin out there. It's called RLUSD, and that's Ripple's coin. It's the real USD, and it's compliant. It's passed everything. It's audited. So there's a third party audit. It's not an in-house audit like Tether. Tether basically audits themselves. That's like me being the judge at my own crime. That don't work. You got to be, and they're trying to make this new coin compliant, which I don't think they will. But
so did you say that did you say the new coin is USAT?
I believe so. Yes.
And you're saying that's questionable? That's a questionable coin?
Well, it's coming from Tether, so everything that Tether's done is, I believe, is questionable. Once a criminal, you're always a criminal, right?
Yep. Yes, sir. Okay. I think I had a question for you, but okay. So, Brick 24, you requested mine. Go ahead. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead, Brick24. Go ahead, Brick24. Do you have a question for Troy? All right. So here's one from Pat Gagan. I have my XRP in XRP Ledger. Is the ledger safe to keep my XRP in? Thank you.
I think so. I haven't got any on the XRP ledger, but I think it is safe. I've heard Vet talk about it some. So you know, don't take me as an expert on that, but I think it's safe there.
Thank you, Troy. Here's one from Bubbles. I bought some XCN on Probit, but am not being able to pull it out. Do you have any info on Probit shutting down? Thank you, Troy.
No, I don't. And you know, if you guys are thinking about investing in coins, try to stick to the ISO 20022 coins. You know, Brad Garlinghouse said once this Clarity Act, probably he wasn't talking about the Clarity Act at the time, but once we get regulations, probably about 99% of these coins are going to have no value at all. So be very careful when you're investing in it. There's a lot of scams out there. I try to stick. I currently am only buying XRP because I truly believe at some point in time you won't be able to buy that anymore because it'll all be bought up off the market. And we're seeing big institutions buying it now with these ETFs. So I think probably, you know, within a year, we probably won't even be able to buy XRP anymore. So that's once that happens, that's when I'll diversify out and start buying some other coins. But I will always stick to ISO coins.
Thank you, Troy. And then do you want to maybe touch a little bit on the XRP and what you, I know you did say, you think it's going to be eventually gone at some point, but what do you think? I mean, we're seeing a lot of movement downward right now in that world, which is a good thing for people to buy. But what are your opinions and thoughts that we can see here? You know, we see silver going out the roof, but what do you foresee, in your opinion, here in the coming days, weeks, months with XRP?
Well, I think what we're going to see is a whole bunch of liquidity flow into XRP. Right now, it's got like 120 billion market cap. Brad Garlinghouse has stated that he thinks in one night, $5 trillion is going to flow into the digital assets. The current market right now with Bitcoin and all the coins is around, I think it's about 2.6 billion right now, or I'm sorry, a trillion, 2.6 trillion in market cap. So that would almost triple it overnight. And you know, once we start tokenizing stuff like BlackRock, Ondu Finance, they're doing this right now. They're tokenizing the stock market, which is a great thing because that takes all of the nefarious business going on in the stock market. You can't naked short sell. If you only have 100% of the shares, you can't have 200% of a company. There's only 100% available. So you're seeing that right now with GameStop and AMC. GameStop is heavily naked shorted. You're seeing the price edge up a little bit because Ryan Cohen, the CEO of GameStop, he came out a couple of days ago and stated there's going to be a very big acquisition by GameStop, which has pushed the price up a little bit. He hasn't announced it yet. He was going to announce it on Monday, but he pulled back. He's probably talking to some attorneys about, you know, not getting sued on what he's purchasing. But something big's about to happen with GameStop. And I think it's going to wipe out the Citadels, the hedge funds that have been naked short selling this stock. Currently, GameStop has about $9 billion in the bank. So they have the ability to purchase something big. Some are stating it might be eBay. I'm not going to try to speculate on what they're going to buy, but Ryan Cohen is a super sharp dude. And when he says he's going to buy something big, it's going to be big. You know, a lot of people going back to the XRP. XRP is going to be a reserve currency that nobody controls. There's not one single person that can control XRP. And it's going to sit in the middle where we're going to have are RLUSD, which is the real USD, the real US dollar. And China and Japan and Germany, all these other countries are going to have their own stable coin. Now, I don't necessarily want to hold a Japanese stable coin. I want an American coin. And Japanese is probably the same way. They don't want to hold our coin. So what they're going to end up doing is they're going to take those coins, they're going to buy XRP, ship it over to Japan in 3 seconds, super fast, and it'll convert right. It's a currency converter as well. Super fast, super cheap, and it goes from US dollars to Japanese yen in seconds. And I think that's what the world's needed for a long time. Right now, in order for us to do a trade with Japan, there has to be what's called nostro vostro accounts in each country. And those are just dollars sitting idle. And the reason for that is because the SWIFT system is so slow. It takes 5 to 7 days to move that money from the U.S. to Japan, that they have to have those nostro vostro accounts in place to hold that money. Well, XRP wipes that out. It happens in real time, so you don't need that 5 to 7 day insurance policy. Basically, is what it is. You don't need that anymore because it's instant. 3 seconds. There was a hedge fund that moved $50 million in 3 seconds, and it cost them 30 cents to move it. That's what we're coming into. And with the tokenization of everything and be running on the XRP ledger, your house will someday be tokenized. And that means everything on that token will pertain to your house. It'll have the title work on it, the price of the house, anything that's wrong with the house, it will be on that token. So instead of waiting 30 to 60 days for the bank to get off their butt and establish a loan, you can do it in 30 seconds. And another thing that tokenization does, it opens up all kinds of investments. Eric Trump stated that if he wanted to build a Trump Tower in Dubai, it would take him 6 months to a year to go through all the hoops, the banks, all the permitting. Permitting would probably be a little bit different, but all the hoops that he has to jump through with the banks. He said, today I could tokenize that building project and I could sell it out in probably 3 hours. And they actually did that in Dubai. They took a building that they were getting ready to build and they tokenized it instead of going through the banks, and they set it on the market, and it sold out in like 3 hours from 149 different countries. They had their money to build their building in a short period of time. Maybe you're an art lover and you would like to own a piece of a Picasso or a Rembrandt. Now, tokenization is going to allow you to do that, to own a little piece of something. Right now you have to pay $20 million to get a piece of a Picasso. Those days are coming to an end. Tokenization frees up all kinds of stuff. If you work a 9-to-5 job and you make, let's say, $50 an hour, 25, whatever you make, that money, when it's tokenized, will stream right into your phone. When you walk in the door, and maybe you punch a clock, that's when the clock starts. It starts trickling into your phone instantly. As long as you're there, you get paid.
Hey, Troy, where are you at? Is that your AC or is that wind?
No, that's wind. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good.
I was getting a little
Go
warm on my
ahead.
pickup, so I warmed my pickup. I rolled my window up a little bit. Hopefully you can't hear it now.
Oh, much better. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to make sure everybody can hear you okay.
Yeah,
All
but,
right.
through the tokenization of stuff, it's going to make this world a totally different place. It's going to take out all the fraud, take out criminals. It's just amazing what it's going to do.
I'm excited. It's like I say in my opening, well, not necessarily my opening, but I say it a lot to my audience and other audiences that our world's going to be flipped upside down in a good way, guys. So much. We're going to have to be retaught everything, and we're ahead of the game, everybody. We're learning in this journey that we're doing. So we're a lot of steps ahead of a lot of people. So I'm excited for that and excited to see what's coming. But real quickly, before we push forward, I know we had a couple hands raised here. I just want to let everybody know in Troy's last podcast here that we did a couple weeks ago, there was a scammer that came in here. And this is why, everybody, I do what I do with my channel. If you're here, we welcome you. We're glad you're here. But if you're one of those people that come in to request to come into the channel and be approved, not here the chat, the channel. You coming into the channel allows you to be in here live on the guest calls, right? But if you're one of those ones that comes in here to leave and request again and try to get an approval, you're more than likely not going to get that approval the second time, because yeah, I've seen you try to come in the channel and leave before and then come back. I that's a red flag to me. You look like a scammer. You look like an agitator or something. So I will remove you. And now, if that's happened to you or a friend of you, many of you have reached out to me via DM or email. I rectify it, but I have removed almost 7,000 people because there are people in here that are trying to scam you. And I had one come in here on Troy's last show. So if you are one of those ones that got a DM saying they were Troy, saying that everything that, I think the message was everything that Troy had said, he was posing as Troy. Everything I said on the show today was right. This, that, and the other. They're trying to bait you, get you to trust them, so you then give your information to them because you're thinking it's Troy. It was not Troy. Troy, myself, or any of my other guests will never, ever randomly reach out to you, ask you for any crypto information, finance information, ask if you're ready for the scare event. And a good way to know how they start these, Good Day, Patriot, or however. But I'm telling you guys, please be careful. I say it all the time. We will never randomly reach out to you and ask you any of these questions. If you get that, block, report them, let me know so I can make sure they're not here in my space. But I watch my channel very, very closely every single day, a couple times a day. I'll go in there and see recent actions, people that have come into my channel and left my channel. And then I go look at my list of how many times these people, and then I remove them and I ban them, guys. And that's to protect you, the audience member, myself, and my guest. I've heard horrifying stories of people getting scammed of literally their livelihoods, guys. So please understand, this is why I do what I do with my channel. And again, like I said, if it's somebody and they've been trying to get in the channel, or they've been blocked, banned, and they want to come back in, that's fine. If they're not a troll, I do rectify that, but I monitor this stuff like a hawk because I see what it's doing to many people, and it's very, very sad, and I don't want you to become victim of that. So I just wanted to address that. And Troy, you can acknowledge that as well and let them know that it's not you.
Definitely not. I will not DM you unless I know you. Another thing, anytime somebody asks you for your seed words, that is a no-no. Don't give them your seed phrases. Don't give them any information that you deemed important. And I even go so far as to say your emails. If Uphold is emailing you, don't accept that. Go to your app. Always go to your app. If you have a notification on Uphold, it'll be on your app. What they do is they counterfeit Uphold, and they send you an email. It looks just like Uphold, and you think you've got a problem with your account, so you start sending them information over that email, and all of a sudden your crypto's gone. That's because they're scammers, and they're super smart. Always go to your app. That way you're dealing exactly with Uphold.
It's kind of like with your bank account, right? If you guys have an app with your bank account, always go to your app, because it'll always have like a message or something there for you. So please, everybody, I do this because I really care about you guys. I do this podcast because I care about you guys, because I have my day gig. Many of you guys know this is in my off time of my day gig. So, I got to do the day gig to pay the bills. So, right. So none of us have to do this, but we're bringing it to you because we want to help you through this, but we also, through the course of this, see a lot of the scams that are happening, the trolls, agitators, and many of you may not spend the time that myself or Troy or many of us do to do the research and know these things. That's why we bring it to your attention. So please understand, it's about protecting you guys, my guests, my audience members, as well as myself. So please understand, I run the channel that way because Honestly, we care about you guys. We don't want anybody to come in and do that to you. You fall victim of that. So thank you, Troy, for confirming that. So we'll go into some questions here real quickly. I did unmute a few mics. So DNA Viking, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, thanks, Jenny and Troy, both of you. It's a very complicated world with everything going on with crypto and metals and et cetera. I guess first thing I noticed this morning was Rob Cunningham was on his Telegram this morning telling people to get off of their upholds and Coinbases. And he says, put everything on a cold wallet.
Okay, wait, real quick. And don't mean to interrupt you. Real quickly, I'm good friends with Rob, and Rob does not have he does not have a channel here on Telegram. So there is a dead giveaway.
I saw it on X. My bad. I saw it on X.
Oh, okay.
So my apology. So at any rate, so that's just one thing I just thought about. Troy just mentioned that he feels really confident about keeping your stuff on Uphold, which I am. I have that, but I just want to make that comment about Rob. But secondly, my question about Bitcoin is I have like 2 or 3 really great friends of mine that are all in on Bitcoin, and they are so sold on this is the thing and it's going to go and it's going to go. Everything you say really makes me feel very sorry and sad for some of my friends that are all in, like 80% of their net worth they've put into Bitcoin. Do you think that when Trump's all done with all this stuff that there are going to be some people spared because of their ignorance, or do you think the people that are in on Bitcoin are just going to be SOL?
So real quickly, Troy, before you answer that, DNA Viking. So, okay, real quickly, I want to understand, and maybe Troy can address this as well. Rob Cunningham is going to be on my show, and I will ask him next week too, next Monday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. But you're saying Rob Cunningham went on his X account telling everybody to say that again?
I think he said that people should be making sure all your stuff is on a cold wallet.
Okay.
And don't keep them on the actual Uphold or Coinbase. He listed all the different ones. I only do Uphold, so I'm not familiar with all the other ones, but I don't know how to do a cold wallet. So I'm like, oh man, I trust the Uphold. I've listened to Troy so many times. I feel confident that I'm safe on Uphold. That's why that was just in passing. My real question was about the Bitcoin and just kind of worried about my friends. So at any rate, thank you.
Yeah, no. I appreciate that. So maybe Troy, if you can address both of his, the Rob Cunningham, because I know you've had experience with Coinbase, and then about the Bitcoin. I just want to clarify that. Thank you, DNA Viking.
Well, sometimes people just lump all the exchanges into one, right? Uphold's a little bit different than all the other exchanges. They actually have a partnership with Ripple. I don't think anybody else does. Coinbase doesn't. They also are completely transparent. You can go on there and look exactly how many XRP they have, or Bitcoin, or Ethereum, or whatever they have. It's completely transparent. I personally like Uphold. I have the ability to move my crypto from an exchange to my LA Pal Titan. I haven't done that. Like I said, when I see a red flag with Uphold, I will let everybody know, but I haven't seen that yet.Maybe Rob's seen something I haven't. I'm guessing Rob probably threw that all together. I don't want to put words into Rob's mouth, but a lot of times when people start naming off exchanges, they just kind of lump them all together. And with your Bitcoin, I think what's probably going to happen is Bitcoin will be tokenized, like I talked earlier. They'll tokenize Bitcoin and run it on the XRP ledger. I think that's one of the only ways Bitcoin survives, especially with all this bad news coming out about who was one of the early investors in Bitcoin, Jeffrey Epstein. So, Chris Larson, a co-founder of Ripple, had a seminar one time, and he actually demonstrated how he could tokenize the Bitcoin and run it on the XRP ledger, make it super fast, and actually reached out to the Bitcoin community to help facilitate that. But really, who runs Bitcoin? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. If you're going to sue somebody at Bitcoin, who would you sue? You don't know. So that's another red flag for Bitcoin for me, is you don't even know who created it. So I think if Bitcoin survives, they will have to tokenize it and run it on the XRP ledger. And if it doesn't, it'll probably go to zero. And for you guys that have tender ears, put your hands over your ears real quick. I'm going to tell you something that Dan Pena said a long time ago. He said, if you knew who created Bitcoin, you'd run as fast as you fucking could to sell it. He said, it'll go to zero and it won't take a day. It'll take an hour for Bitcoin to go to zero. And I think we're starting to see maybe some of the help, not help, but the financing behind Bitcoin was Jeffrey Epstein and his cronies. So is that Dan Pena moment coming? Well, look at the market. And right now, everything follows Bitcoin, including Ripple, XRP. When Bitcoin goes up, we go up. When Bitcoin goes down, we go down. Now, is there going to be a decoupling there? I think so. That money's going to rotate into something eventually. I can see people selling their Bitcoin and buying XRP. One of the largest Bitcoin buyers is Michael Saylor. And here about a month or two ago, it was a meme, and it had him standing there in a Bitcoin outfit. And he jumped up in the air, and it all of a sudden turned into a XRP UFO. So is he talking maybe about converting Bitcoin to XRP? I don't know. But, Bitcoin's got a really bad taste in its mouth right now with all this Epstein coming out. I kind of feel sorry for your friends that have been brainwashed into the Bitcoin family, let's say. But I think they're going to soon find out that it's not all peaches and creams over there at Bitcoin, especially when some more of this stuff comes out about Jeffrey Epstein. Did that answer your question?
It sure did. Thank you. I mean, I feel the same way. So thank you for, I guess, the passion I have for my friends. Is like I said all those things to them. Like, who invented it and who do you sue? And that was kind of like, well, and they're reading all these other articles here, there, and wherever, and that are like, it's going to go to $1 million. It's going to go. And it's like, and it's always the same thread that they're all reading about it from, like, these different hedge funds, et cetera, et cetera. So you reinforce everything I already believe. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate your backstory on that.
You bet. And you got to remember the narrative, the Jeffrey Epstein. They silenced that. They didn't tell you about Jeffrey Epstein. But anytime you're on the news and they're talking about cryptocurrency, what are they talking about? Bitcoin. Same story, same story, same story. And all the influencers that are on X, same story, same story, same story.
Yep.
When I first got into this, that's what I was going to invest in is Bitcoin. And I learned a lesson back when I was a sophomore in high school. Do your research before you start investing. So I did. I started doing a little investigation into Bitcoin, mainly through YouTube, the pros and cons of Bitcoin. And I learned in about 2 weeks that was not for me. It doesn't work. It doesn't scale. I learned about mining, the possibility of drug trafficking and human trafficking about it. And I thought, I don't want to have anything to do with that. So I kept researching because I wanted to invest in cryptocurrency. I thought that was going to be the way. And Charlie Ward, I was listening to Charlie Ward one day, and he had a lady on there. Well, no, this was before that. He said he was on an airplane with what he does is he hauled money around the world for rich people. And he was on a particular plane, and I think it was somebody with the U.S. government with him. And he said there's going to be something that comes along that'll shut the economy down, which was COVID-19. But he also talked about an XRP, but which Charlie Ward had never heard about XRP, didn't know what it was. And so he got a gal on his show, and it was a pretty long show. It was an hour and a half or so. And she talked about XRP. Well, shortly after that, I don't know whether Charlie Ward went under an NDA, but he quit talking about it. That's when I thought, uh-oh, here we go. So I started doing my research on XRP, and I found out this is the one this is going to be the new reserve currency of the world. The way it works, Ripple in the last 3 years, you don't do this when you think your company's going down or it's not useful. They have spent over $4 billion on buying companies. They bought Medico, They bought Standard Charter and Trust. They bought Hidden Road. They bought G Treasury. They bought Palisade, which is a wallet. There's rumors in the rumor mill right now that they're going to buy Circle, which is another stable coin. And I think an offer has been made for $11 billion. So if that happens, it'll all run on the XRP ledger. And that makes XRP extremely valuable.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you, DNA Viking. Okay, Christina, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, Jenny and Troy. I have a question. I hold my tokens on a cold wallet that is, I've heard Troy say it's legit, the wallet. And now I'm seeing, I don't know if you have addressed this. I haven't been on the show for a couple months. Um, and I don't know if you've addressed this, but I keep seeing these postings that you need to move your crypto out of the cold wallets and establish a private custody wallet with an LLC.
Well, there's a pretty big influencer out there. His name's Jake Claver, and I love Jake Claver. He's stating that, maybe you got to start thinking about an LLC and a trust when you have $1 million invested in crypto. And right now, I don't have $1 million in crypto. So he kind of stated that that's kind of the point where maybe you got to start thinking about an LLC or a trust company. I believe in the future that we probably won't need any of that. We're going to be eliminating the criminals out here. Donald Trump is on a warpath to get these criminals in jail. So who steals your money? Criminals. I believe when we have this new America and this golden age, everybody's going to have some money. There ain't going to be a need to steal anything from anybody. I read a deal on X here the other day, and a lady was visiting in Dubai, and she had a Uber or a taxi or something that she traveled quite a distance in, and when she got out, she forgot her purse. Well, in 2 hours, she had her purse back with all the money but the cab fare. The cab fare was taken out, and the money that she had left was still in her purse. I think that's the society we all want to live in, isn't it? We don't want to have to worry about, oh God, I got to put my stuff in an LLC for somebody suing me, or a trust that the tax man's going to get me. I think a lot of this is solved through cryptocurrency. Taxes. Let's just take, for instance, in today's tax society, you pay unemployment tax. when they tokenize that, and that your income is coming into your phone, it'll be going into the government as well. Whatever tax you owe, it'll be instantly paid. I believe the tax system will go to a sales tax, where if you buy something new, you'll pay a tax on it. Probably not food, but if you buy a used car, you won't have a tax on that. But if you go to a dealership and you buy a new car with your crypto and it's tokenized, that'll happen instantly. The dealership will get paid and the government will get paid in 3 seconds. That's how fast it'll be. So hopefully we don't have to worry about an LLC at this time. I don't have one. I don't have a trust. If the rules don't change, and maybe I become a millionaire crypto, I'll start thinking about it then. But not until then, I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Christina. Okay, here I have a comment here for the room. This is from kind of a warning, everybody, from Charles Fuller. He says, do not Google a phone number either. A friend of mine lost $15,000 last week thinking he was talking to a customer service person, but it was a scammer. So see, everybody, these scams are getting more intelligent, and crafty. So guys, if it's a link coming and they're saying it's coming from somebody, don't click on it. That's another scam. It's wild out there, everybody. Just please be careful. What I do, people always say, Jenny, you need to set up your voice message. No, I don't, because if you wanna, if it's that important, you can send me a text message. And I don't answer phone calls that I don't know. If I get all these random calls that say scams or whatever, I block them so they can't, call me again. Yeah, they'll probably call from 1,000 different other numbers, but I'll still block them. So I don't answer anybody that I don't know. And if it's like your doctor's appointments or somebody that you know and you don't have them plugged into your phone, make sure you plug them into your phone so when they do call, it's them calling you. But everybody, please be careful. It's wild out there, guys. And these scams, it's sad, but the creativity that they're doing is beyond like wild. So be careful, everybody. All right, Son C, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. Hi, Jenny, and hi, Troy. My
Hello.
question is, Alex Trump have an announcement, I think, I'm not sure when, in Texas, he's mining Bitcoin. What kind of coin they are mining? Thank you.
Well, they're mining Bitcoin. And, Donald Trump is always really good at keeping his enemies really close, isn't he? So
100%.
he likes to keep his enemies right there at his front doorstep.
Friends close, enemies closer, everybody. So, everybody, well, why is Trump this? Why? Listen, we are at war, everybody. And yeah, he was in with the elites at one point to get closer. Because remember, he was approached, guys, he was asked by, generals to be in the spot that he is in as the president. He has talked, his messaging has been the same since back in the early 80s about him maybe one day having to be the president. If he had to, he would run. So, and he said he's prepared for this his whole life. So you guys, you got to get in with your enemies so you know their dirty deeds. He did exactly that. So don't think for a minute, guys, this hasn't all been planned out pretty intently because it has. So keep your friends close, everybody, and your enemies closer. And he does. He puts a spotlight on these nefarious individuals, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Hey, Jenny, I'd like to throw out a little disclaimer here too.
Yes.
We're not financial advisors. We're giving you our opinions on stuff. So when I say I keep my stuff on Uphold, I do. You may not be comfortable with that, and that's okay. If you decide that that's not maybe your cup of tea, I would suggest, my opinion again, that you get a wallet that doesn't hook to the internet, because that's how you get hacked. These wallets that hook to the internet, they may sit idle in your safe for years, but as soon as you hook it to the internet, that's when they can get you. ElliePal does not hook to the internet. When I want to send something, I have to have my ElliePal, and it creates a QR code that I have to scan in order to send it. There's another wallet out there that I've been doing some research on. It's called Tangem. And the nice thing about Tangem is you don't even know your seed words. So you can't lose them. They give you 3 cards, and in that card, looks like a credit card. Your seed words are in that card. So Tangem doesn't know what your seed words are, and you don't know what your seed words are. It's in that card. They give you 3 of them. So when you want to send something, you just tap that card on your phone, and it'll send wherever you want to go. So you got to guard your cards. You obviously don't want to lose your cards. But, and some people were like, I don't want to deal with a card or worried about keeping them on an exchange. There's companies out there. I Trust Capital is one of them. They have what's called a closed loop system. And you can actually convert some of your retirement account. I'm not saying to do that, but you can. IRAs and 401ks, and they have a new account. I can't remember what the name of it is, but you can invest directly into that account. And what their closed loop system is you put cash in, and you can trade Bitcoin. I think they do silver, they do XRP, XLM. You can trade within that account. So if you get tired of holding XRP one day and you want to convert it to Bitcoin, you can do that. But when you take it out, you can only take it out back into your bank account. They won't let you send it to a cold wallet or a hot wallet. So that's what they called a closed loop system. If somebody was to hack you in I Trust Capital, all they could do was sell your XRP and send it back into your bank account. So the next morning you'd wake up and have a whole bunch of money in your bank account. There's another company out there called Caleb and Brown. And the thing about Caleb and Brown that I like, and I'm not getting paid by any of these guys, and I don't even have an account with any of these guys. So Caleb and Brown, they actually will assign you a broker. So if you're having trouble doing something, you just call your broker and say, hey, I want to set limits, or I want to set this, or I want to, to revalue things. You have a broker that you're going to actually talk to, which is kind of nice. So if you're not comfortable leaving them on an exchange, get them on a cold wallet that doesn't hook to the internet. If you're not comfortable having a cold wallet, maybe Caleb and Brown or I Trust Capital is the way that you want to go.
Thank you, Troy. All right, Tim Gibbs, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tim.
Hear me?
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Okay. Just a train of thought along with what y'all have been saying. Thank you, Troy and Jenny. But Jenny, you mentioned about the Trump family and them being front and center, and the fact that if we were really at that level where we're unsafe, would he really put his family out there at the level, his grandchildren up in front of the TV cameras and all? And then Troy mentioned when David Schwartz went in to Bitcoin and made it traceable, how when they did that oil thing that they were able to, get the Bitcoin back. When Trump makes the statement that we have it all and we caught them all, goes all the way back to McAfee, when McAfee handed out all the computers to the government agencies and made them all traceable and trackable with their phones and computers. Executive orders that Trump put out, basically talking about crimes against humanity and people caught interfering with the U.S. election. BlackRock, Vanguard, all the pharmaceutical companies, all these assets being seized is how the wealth gets returned back to the people, in my opinion. So the direction I think we're heading, instead of being fearful about all this stuff, it's fear over faith. We're arming each other with knowledge of
You mean faith? You mean faith over fear?
faith over fear. I'm sorry. I don't talk on these much, but this was just, to me, it's the clarity of what y'all said about the Trump family, David Schwartz, and looking at McAfee and all these things. When they say, to me, making a statement that says we have it all and we caught them all, that little 3-letter word has to mean everything. All means all. So we are dealing with scammers on email levels, and like you said, I that Promethean action thing, that lady that does those videos, I Googled the website that she put on there on her video the other day, and it said my phone had been infected with a virus or something. So like you said, you can't just freely Google stuff anymore without these scammers are going into all these channels and duplicating our accounts and doing things. But when it comes to the major stuff like Bitcoin, you got the Trump family out doing the Bitcoin stuff. I think they've already taken over. Like if Coinbase was on the bad side, BlackRock's on the bad side, all these companies that are on the bad side, I think that they're from the top, they've been dealt with, just like Davos. And Trump flew in there the last time he was in office. And this time he flies in there and does that. I just don't choose to live in fear over these big corporations. Rob Cunningham says on his videos, it's not the asset that's bad. It's the hands that it's in. It's the people that are controlling it. Just like now they're putting out the information years ago about the 650 airplanes that went and got the gold out of the Vatican. Supposedly they repurposed the gold into the vaults. My point in all this is just to state that I think that all these bad companies are being brought down, and that now it's not the assets that are bad. It was the people that were in control of it. But thanks for letting me talk.
Of course, 100%. You're absolutely right. And, I say it all the time. We caught them all. When Trump says we caught them all, we have it all, that's a thing. He means it. And guess what? He is weaponizing their weapons they had to go against us, against them. So remember, everybody, everything bad that they had planned for us is now being weaponized against them, and it's going to be used good in our favor. And I'm going to use Palantir as an example. Palantir is all a part of this whole, we caught them all, we have it all. How do you think they're tracking these illegals, everybody? Palantir, Trump has taken over that weapon that they were going to use against us, and now he's using it against the evildoers. So, and then, again, the power fight for the AI, right? If we here in the United States don't take the control over AI, China will. We don't want China to have control because it's a fight right now for technology as well, and we don't want China, CCP. China, right? You got the people of China and then CCP, their deep state. We don't want them to have control of the AI. Otherwise, guys, we're toast. So remember that Trump is that phrase, we caught them all, we have it all, is a thing, and Trump is turning their weapons against them that they had for us. So he's weaponizing their own weapons against them to take them down. So it's absolutely brilliant what we're seeing. So if you can get out of kind of that mindset of what we've all been taught so long, the fear and negative Nancy's and all that doom and gloom, and try to train yourself more in the positive part of it, you're going to feel more at peace. And at the end of the day, everybody, for me, when I'm listening to people speak or type their comments or do podcasts or whatever, what I'm noticing missing is the most is people's faith. They don't speak out of faith. A lot of it, they speak out of fear. So that's one thing for me that I notice, and it's very disheartening. And I'm like, where's the faith in everybody? Like, I sit here, I do my thing every day, go to work, do my podcast, whatever it is I need to do. And I'm comfortable. I have my faith. My faith is strong. I talk to God all the time, right? And it'll be in my car when I'm driving. It'll be before I go to bed. It'll be in the shower. It'll be anywhere. Like, he's right here, right? He is my best friend. He is my rock. So that's what I see a lot is people, the faith is just not there. And we need more people to get back to that faith, because once you have that, you're golden. So Tim, thank you for that, because not many people get that. I appreciate your input on that. Thank you. All right, Miss Troy, do you have time for one more question, my friend?
I do, but I'd like to add a little bit to that
Go for it.
Bitcoin deal. President Trump is a genius, and he lets the enemy eat themselves. What did Trump do? He started World Liberty and a Trump coin. He also had his son go out and do a mining, Bitcoin mining. What's the Clarity Act? Some of the legislation in the Clarity Act is really pissed off that Donald Trump did that. That he went out and started World Liberty and a Trump coin and thought he got rich off of it, which he did make some money off of it, and it's not illegal. So what are they going to put in the Clarity Act? Possibly they're going to put that politicians can't do what Donald Trump did. That would eliminate anybody else from doing what he just did. So he works in mysterious ways.
Yes, he does. And he truly is. He is brilliant, everybody. Like I always say, he's 1,000 steps ahead of everybody. So take some solace in that, everybody, and just watch him. Watch his moves and listen to how he speaks. He's very confident. And got a lot of stuff coming down the pike, everybody. That's great. And I'm trying to get 107 on here on Friday, because what I'm being told is there's an executive order that's going to be coming out that Trump is going to be signing, that Juan has been a part of in that executive order in writing, and it has to do with our elections. So I'm trying to get him on Friday. We right now have a tentative yes, trying to figure out the time, because as we know, he's very busy. So for those haters out there that have talked so much shit about 107, you're going to be soon eating your words, because That is one gentleman that you should have been following from the get-go, whether you like his presentation or not. He tells you from birth to grave so we can understand the process, why, and how we got here and where we're going. And same thing with Derek Johnson is another one. If you're not listening to him, he's another one. He's being vindicated. So is Juan, because everything that they've been saying from the beginning is coming to fruition. So I'm going to tell you, people out there bashing Juan O'Savin, they're going to eat their words and they're going to be sorry. Don't follow that path, everybody, because there are people still out there talking smack. You need to be following Juan O'Savin because I'm telling you, he's somebody very, very special in this movement. All right, with that, we're going to close out with Miss Best Press. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jenny. Hi, Troy. My question is, over the weekend, I was really back and forth. What should I dip and buy more of, the silver or the XRP? And I've bought both. I've invested in both, but I'm not, somebody who can buy $1 million. That'd be great, but we're not in that position. What do you think is long-term is better to purchase and have more of, the XRP or the silver? I'm willing to do more of both, but I'm just curious, what should I, because this is the chance of a lifetime. If we don't get it now, this is something we're going to look back on and be like, oh my God, we bought first at our reawakening tour that we went to 4 years ago when we saw General Flint. Someone told us about this and we did our research. And so from there, we've continued on purchasing and buying. But what do you think right now, because of the dip, what do you think is your opinion? I know it's your opinion that we should invest more of.
I think XRP will be one of the most valuable assets on this earth at some point in time when everything gets tokenized. Arthur Brito, a co-founder of Ripple, has stated that XRP was designed to work at a minimum of $10,000. So that's a pretty good jump. If silver jumped to, let's just say, jumped to $900 an ounce, that's still not the potential from $1.57 to $10,000. David Schwartz has stated also that XRP works better at $1 million than it does at $1, because you don't have to move as many XRP when you're doing transactions. If it was $1 million and you wanted to move $50 million, you'd only have to move 50 XRP. Each XRP gets burnt just a little bit when it's moved. That makes it deflationary. So I think the upside on XRP far outweighs silver or gold. It's useful. I mean, I own silver. I love silver, and it's a great investment. But does it? I think it have the upside as XRP? No. If you wanted to pay somebody in Japan with that silver, how long would it take you to get that silver from here to Japan? You can do it with XRP in 3 seconds. That's the use case of it. It's super fast. It's super cheap. And it frees up all kinds of money around the world. All these are Nostro Vostro accounts. They don't need them anymore. That money comes home. So there again, I think XRP will be one of the most valuable assets you can own on the planet. A lot of people don't realize each XRP is designed, it has 1 million drops in it. So someday your kids will probably be talking about drops rather than XRP. When you tell them you own 1 XRP, their mouth's going to fall open. You own 1 XRP. So each one of those drops are going to be, you go to the grocery store and you buy a gallon of milk. You'll probably pay 1 drop for it. So if this all plays out and the money does come flowing into the XRP ledger, Arthur Brito has stated it operates at a minimum of $10,000 a coin.
Okay, so you've answered my question. Thank you very much. And Jenny, thank you again for your shows. Have a good day.
Thank you, Best Press. Thank you for being here. All right, everybody. Troy's going to be coming on with us more as his obviously his schedule permits. I'm trying to get him on every 2 weeks, every other week if he can. So Troy, crossing our fingers. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep, I should be able to do that.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Troy, for your great information. And everybody here, come back. Go over to my X Space. We're going to be talking to Marlon over there. We are going to be talking about the trucking industry and how it ties into not just our food supply, but the trafficking of the children. You don't want to miss this, everybody. We're going to be doing a lot of focusing on the children because remember, it's all about the children. And then come back here. That one's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on my X. And then 5:30 Central Standard Time, everybody. Captain Kyle is back, everybody. Continue to keep him and his wife, Renee, in your prayers. But he is back, and it looks like we're going to be back on our schedule for every 2 weeks. So I'm super stoked about that. We love our captain, and he definitely has been missed. But obviously, as I always say, God, family first, and nothing can come in between that family. So Troy, love you, buddy. Glad you're here with us. Going to be here with us every 2 weeks. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and the chat here as well. We'll talk to you soon. God bless everybody. Take care. Thanks, Troy.
Hey, Jenny,
Yes.
can I put one more thing on the board unrelated to XRP and this stuff?
You can post whatever you want. You're an admin over here, silly.
Hold on a second. Let me post this picture and I'll talk about it.
Yeah. So check out the board, everybody. He's going to be posting something.
So this was a poster that they put out at the beginning of the football season. You know, they have to tell you what they're going to do, right? Look at the two teams and this is a close up of that poster. The two teams that are standing in the front are the two teams that are playing the Super Bowl. They didn't know that. And if you look at the guy standing behind him, it's 28. What date is the Super Bowl played on? 2/8. What's the score?
Goodness.
What's the score? 14-10.
Where do you see the 14? Hold on. Okay. Oh, okay. I see the two front ones. Okay. Damn. Well, you know what, Troy? There's so many of these NFL players that are coming out and they're talking about the scripts. They're coming out. Well, I was told not to say this, but when I came in, they handed me a script. Some people, some of these players are saying that they had a longevity in the sport. Some of them come out and say that they're pretty disappointed because they had him hurting his leg or something pretty quickly into the season. So, yeah, very interesting, everybody. And then look who they have at the halftime show. Give me a break. I just want to throw up in my mouth. Bad Bunny. Oh, give me a break.
Now, if you don't want to watch, I'm not going to watch any of the Super Bowl or the halftime show or anything like that. If you don't want to watch Bad Bunny and you want to watch the NFL, Turning Point is going to have their own Super Bowl show. And it's starring, I think one of the players is Kid Rock and some other guys on there that they're going to put on their own halftime show.
Wow, what a circus we live in, everybody. So, wow, thank you for sharing that, Troy. I always love having you on. You're such a bright light in this movement. And God bless you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody here, have a great rest of your day. God bless you. And God bless Troy. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Take care.